Arizona may become the proving ground for the convergence of AI infrastructure, real estate, energy systems, and next generation capital markets. Arizona is no longer just a fast growing Sunbelt state. It is becoming one of the most important economic laboratories in America. Over the next decade, Arizona may emerge as the proving ground for the convergence of artificial intelligence infrastructure, energy systems, real estate development, and next-generation capital markets. Most people are still viewing these trends independently. They are not. The explosion of AI infrastructure is reshaping power demand. Power demand is reshaping land values. Land values are reshaping development strategy. Development strategy is reshaping capital formation. And eventually, capital formation itself may be transformed through programmable ownership and tokenized real-world assets. The next evolution of Arizona may not simply be population growth. It may be the modernization of both physical infrastructure and financial infrastructure at the same time. Arizona is entering a different economic era. For years, Arizona was viewed primarily through the lens of population growth, housing demand, and migration from higher-cost states like California and New York. That framework is now outdated. Arizona is rapidly becoming strategic national infrastructure. The state now sits at the intersection of several transformational trends: artificial intelligence infrastructure expansion, semiconductor manufacturing, industrial reshoring, energy infrastructure investment, data center development, population migration, distributed power systems, logistics, and industrial growth. Massive capital is flowing into the region. Data centers are being developed at unprecedented scale. Power demand projections are exploding. Industrial campuses are reshaping entire submarkets. Land near transmission infrastructure is becoming increasingly strategic. This is not simply another real estate cycle. It is the early stages of infrastructure reindustrialization. The real bottleneck is infrastructure. Most discussions surrounding Arizona focus on housing, but housing may ultimately be downstream from the real story. The true constraint may be infrastructure itself: power generation, transmission capacity, grid resiliency, water allocation, industrial land positioning. Artificial intelligence infrastructure is extraordinarily power intensive. Modern AI campuses are not lightweight office projects. They function more like industrial utility ecosystems. As these projects expand, they place enormous pressure on electrical infrastructure, substations, transmission systems, cooling systems, land adjacent to utility corridors. This changes the economics of real estate itself. Parking lots become energy assets. Industrial land becomes strategic infrastructure. Power access becomes a competitive advantage. Infrastructure adjacent properties may outperform traditional location assumptions. The future value of property may increasingly depend on infrastructure positioning rather than simple geography alone. Infrastructure is becoming the new real estate. Historically, most investors viewed infrastructure and real estate as separate categories. That separation may begin collapsing. Over time, more real estate assets may evolve into hybrid infrastructure systems: solar integrated, multi-family battery storage deployments, distributed energy systems, microgrids, AI support, infrastructure utility adjacent industrial campuses. In this environment, owners may no longer simply operate buildings. They may operate energy-producing infrastructure. Arizona's climate, land availability, solar potential, and growth trajectory make it one of the most logical places in America for this transformation to occur. The capital markets have not caught up. While physical infrastructure is evolving rapidly, much of real estate finance still operates using outdated models. Real estate remains highly illiquid. Infrastructure ownership structures remain fragmented. Private market liquidity is limited. Recapitalization pathways are often inefficient. This becomes increasingly problematic as infrastructure projects grow larger, more capital intensive, and more technologically integrated. The next evolution may not simply involve building new infrastructure. It may involve modernizing how infrastructure ownership itself functions. The rise of programmable ownership over the next decade, real-world asset tokenization may emerge as one of the most important evolutions in modern capital markets, not because of speculation, not because of hype, but because traditional ownership structures are increasingly inefficient for a digitally connected economy. Tokenization, at its core, represents the ability to create programmable, digitally transferable ownership structures around real-world assets, real estate, energy systems, infrastructure projects, cash flow producing assets. The implications are significant: improved liquidity, more efficient capital formation, secondary market access, recapitalization, flexibility, broader infrastructure participation, programmable distribution structures. This is not simply a crypto narrative, it is a capital markets modernization narrative. And Arizona may become one of the first regions where the physical and financial layers begin converging at scale. Arizona, as the proving ground. Very few places in America possess all of the ingredients simultaneously: rapid growth, infrastructure demand, industrial expansion, energy pressure, real estate development, solar potential, land availability, regulatory flexibility, capital inflows. Arizona does. That is why the state may become more than a growth story. It may become a prototype, a proving ground for the next era of infrastructure development, distributed energy systems, AI industrialization, programmable ownership, and next-generation real estate capital markets. The next decade may fundamentally reshape how physical assets are built, financed, owned, and traded. Arizona is positioned directly at the center of that transformation. The future infrastructure economy is already beginning to emerge.